and welcome to Dungeoneered, a podcast dedicated to discussing Dungeons and Dragons. I'm Aaron.
And I'm Josh. Aaron, you can't open a show
Let's do this.
with that kind of energy. No one's gonna... You're gonna be like, why?
Well,
if they don't even want to be here, why do I want to be here?
Because you never... it's because it's the most boring show of all time, and you never let me do fun things. I guess we're just going to have to start with that energy. Every time
You just wanted to do a weird accent, and that's okay. I just
every
want
time
to know
every time
about
do
it.
something fun.
I
You
just want
shut me
to.
down.
I just want to know about it before it happens,
No,
Aaron.
why? It's more fun when you don't know about it.
Okay.
Nope, you just shut me down every time. So now that intro is going to be boring all the time, every time, no matter what. Hello and welcome to Dungeoneered. You want me to do it again?
No, we don't
Okay.
have to. That was
Hello
fine.
and welcome to Dungeoneered podcast. You know, one of those.
Okay.
'Cause
What is your okay? Let's just get into
he won't,
it. At
He
this
won't
point.
let me. He won't let me do my fun character voices.
You can do your fun
won't let me.
character. Oh my, Aaron, you're
Listen,
fine.
the only way I can get you to agree with it is if I bring it up to the people.
if
need to
you
vote.
get the people on your side,
Yeah,
but
backed by popular demand is Lord Dale,
they don't even know what they would be voting for if you said
who's
you
gonna
want-
be
you
murdered
want
in
Lord
cold
Dale.
blood. You're gonna be murdered. You're gonna kill him.
Okay, so what is your lukewarm open for today?
I can't believe you're gonna kill him. You're just gonna murder him.
It's late, Aaron. I want to go to bed. Let's record this.
It is late. Yeah, it is late. You're right.
I don't want to draw this
You're
out
right,
too
you're right.
long.
I mean, honestly, I should probably go to bed because
Hey,
This-
I wanted to record and edit this podcast by the end of the day. That's not happening now.
well, okay, you know
So I
what?
at least need one
This
day.
is, Civil War. This is new season. Civil War. Aaron versus Josh. Civil War. Calling it now. I don't know what that even means. But
I don't
it's
either.
Civil War.
Okay, next
It's
season.
a civil
Next
war.
season, we'll do some sort of civil war where we each create the enemies. Like we each create the one faction in it.
Yeah, but yours is gonna be like
The
in
best?
depth. And
You're right.
Crazy, and then mine's gonna be like a potato wedge. You know.
And a chair.
Like, well, chair might be a little too much work. Think just a potato wedge is probably better. Because you're going to do all the research and all the cool stuff, and I'm just going to show up last minute and
But you're really good at creating
make it up on the
stuff, so
spot.
it's fine. It'll work.
But anyways, I should get to bed, but you keep distracting me with all of your nonsense. We were ready 30 minutes ago. 40 minutes
I kept
40
showing
minutes
you
at this
YouTube
point now.
videos.
we
You're right.
were
I
ready
did
40
delay it a
minutes
lot.
ago, and you just posted video after video, and all I wanted to do was come in here with Lord Dale, and you were like, no, you can't do Lord Dale. And I'm like, okay, fine.
You could do Lord Dale in the future. I just want to know about Lord Dale before he happens.
No. What is the, next time, be on your A game, because I'm coming with extra boring. Hello. And welcome to
Okay.
Dungeon.
Aaron, what is the lukewarm open? I'm waiting, man. I'm here on eggshells. dude.
This is like a 4-minute segue, you know?
It really is. We're gonna have no time for whatever lukewarm open you have.
How long of a segue can we actually make? That's the
No,
question.
this is not interesting for the listener.
Yeah, but it's interesting to me. That's all that matters. Listening to you squirm in pain. That's all I care about.
And the lukewarm open is
Nothing.
how do we put nothing in?
No,
D&D?
actually, I have something. I do have something. I'm just trying to prolong the segue.
Okay.
Okay. Anyways, no.
Now that the segue's
So
over.
this Friday. What? No. See, now you distracted me. Now I'm all distracted. I had the lukewarm open ready to go. I segued perfectly. It was a perfectly smooth transition.
I think
and
you're
now
segue top of
I'm
a little
distracted.
bit, but
Anyways, this last Friday, which I think I told you, I'm pretty sure I told you because it had to do with D&D, but I got my vaccine, baby.
You
So
did
I'm all
tell us,
vaccinated.
yes.
I got Johnson & Johnson, so I got one vaccine,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm fully vaccinated. And so it was funny because I got the vaccine, and when you get the vaccine, they kind of like, I don't know, have you gotten a vaccine yet, Josh?
no. But I'm going to get the Johnson & Johnson. I'm like, they're as of right now, they're like, hey, we're constantly having like people call in and just not show up, and so they're like, hey, cool. Like we'll call you the moment like somebody bails, and so I'm like, I'm crossing my fingers. The last two times they called me, I was working, and I'm like, I can't get over there now. Sorry.
Yeah, I had that. I had a similar experience, but it's weird because when you first get your vaccine, they like tell you to like shop around for like 15 minutes to make sure that like you're all good before you go.
Yeah,
which is kind of nerve-wracking, not gonna lie, because you're like shopping and you're like holding this huge information packet about your vaccine and what it does for you and all this stuff. Mm-hmm. But anyways, I got home and the packet talks about all these side effects that you're supposed to have. And I got home, I was feeling great. Went through the rest of the day. I got it at like 4 p.m. or something like that. And went through the whole rest of the day, no issues. 9 o'clock comes around, I go to bed. And then I wake up at exactly... Okay, my bird is...
Yeah, I was going to say, your bird is... and it's not... It's normal noise. It's a very... it's going to be a hard noise for me to get out of here as best as...
Oh, yeah. She is... Well, it's because it's nighttime now, and she's like doing her nighttime sleepy talk. So... But anyways... I woke up at exactly 11:57. I remember precisely because I woke up because I was convulsing.
That's not good.
Which, that's not good, right? I was convulsing, and the reason I was convulsing is because apparently I had such a high fever that I was shivering uncontrollably and was like literally convulsing from the cold, how cold I was. Which was kind of terrifying because I'm out here all by myself right now because I'm house sitting for my boss. All out in the middle of absolute nowhere. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, I'm going to die. I'm dead. It's over for me. Like, I'm dead. So I was having this super panic attack. So what I ended up doing is, I was like, because I was so cold, I ended up like making my way to the bathroom in my boss's house. And his bathroom, the heating system kind of like funnels into the bathroom. And so that bathroom, it's like a guest bathroom, is like scorching hot. All the time. Mm-hmm. It's like you go in there to pee and your pee evaporates before it even hits the toilet. It's so hot in there. Like it's like boiling. So I went in there and shut the door to like get myself warm. Mm-hmm. But it was weird because as I was sitting in there after about like 10, 15 minutes, I finally started to like not convulse or like shake so bad because I was like so cold. But after that, I was kind of thinking, I was like, it'd be interesting in D&D to run like a pandemic or a disease. Have you ever done that?
Okay, first I'm going to say it would not be fun at our current moment in time.
It's not fun to run a pandemic?
No, but once all of this is blown off and everybody is like now just thinking back on it and it's not like something that has just happened. Like I have hated every single thing that I've like, when I watch like an old movie and it just happens to deal with some sort, it's like, a pandemic happened or... like even if it's just like in the
trigger
lore.
Warning type thing.
Like the first way that this horrible... apocalypse happened was there was a pandemic and then this other stuff happened and it's like all of it I notice it everywhere when I'm watching stuff now and but yeah, it's not the time for it. But if I was to throw it in, I would do like some sort of zombie thing. But okay, well actually hold on actually spoilers for any of my party, do not listen to this because this is gonna happen soon. You're gonna figure out about this. So I currently have my party infected with something.
Ooh.
So
you currently have them infected with something?
Yes, they are. Well, I didn't do that. They got infected. They got bit, failed their con saves, and then
all of them?
No, not all of them, just 2 of them. But so what has been happening? It's been like they're beginning. So it's post-apocalypse world. They are in. They started in the main city, and what they have done is they have gotten a mission to travel east. Nobody travels east because it's very dangerous, and it's like 5 days till you get to the coast. And at the coast, there's like these krakens and just horrible tentacle monsters, and so it's such a like scary place to be. Nobody travels that direction.
Gotta watch out for those tentacle monsters.
So they're going to run into a lot of like monsters a lot more frequently than they normally would. But before they left, they fought Wendigos, which they knew.
Hey.
They knew they were called Wendigos. They're not the exact same Wendigos, but it makes the person kind of have Wendigo psychosis, where they don't want to be a cannibal, but they really want. They nothing tastes good to them anymore, and they don't really taste like normal food as we would think of it, but flesh tastes good.
Do the players know about this?
Not yet. What they know is that
got it.
Few of them have stopped, like 2 of them have they just don't taste anything. And so I kind of said like, hey, it just kind of seems like they're like, hey, you're like a day out. So you're currently using like fresh produce, like you're still close enough that the food hasn't gone bad, so you're kind of using that. But tonight's meal just tastes like rations. It doesn't taste like anything. It doesn't taste good in any way. And so the person's like, huh.
Uh-oh.
And then the next day, the person who rolled a little better on their save, it didn't affect them till the next day. So now both of them were having this thing, and they had just come across this weed. It's called fireweed. That is, no, it's not. It's not that. But no. So what it is it's a kind of like pepper, like a kind of it's a spice. It's a spice, and so it puts this kind of fiery spice in it. Yes, I got the Critical Role reference. But no, so you put it. It kind of adds this heat to a dish. So the person who in the party is like, oh, I cook. They were like, oh, I'm gonna throw some in tonight. So they did. They kind of cut it up and threw it in. Everybody else is like, like they're like role playing out, like, oh man, that was really hot.
What are they like again? Wait, do that again. What are they like?
Not gonna do it again. But and so I specifically pointed out to those two. I was like, it doesn't taste like much. Like you don't taste spice. So some of them were like, I'm gonna take a scoop full of fireweed and just try it. And everybody's like, no, what are you doing? And they taste it and they're like, it doesn't taste like much to them. And so everybody's like, what? And so they're starting to realize like, okay, this is far more intense than just things aren't as flavored as they normally are. This is straight up, you are ingesting like horseradish and it tastes like nothing.
That's kind of a cool concept, though.
That is, and so they're starting to feel this food doesn't taste good anymore. You're not getting the...
What does it do? What does it do to them in the long run?
Well, so in the long run, the only thing that's going to taste good is flesh. So they're going to start smelling... in the middle of the night, they're going to be dreaming. They're going to dream about food because they're going to start starving because eventually they're not going to be able to eat. Food is going to be gross to them. And so they're going to have to go through these stages and be like, why am I like, what is going on? And then if they don't like figure out how to resolve it or figure out what it is, and it goes long enough, they're going to have to roll a wisdom save or eat, or in the middle of the night, on one of their watches, eat one of their friends. Because they're so hungry.
Waking up
because they're
with
so
a friend gnawing on your leg.
But so the thing is, they have two people on every watch. So there's gonna be someone who's gonna be like, "Hey, what are you doing?" So it's not gonna go too far, but they might at least get a nibble, which is enough.
Just a little.
Which is enough to make it like, whoa, like this cool. It's gonna be this cool moment and this cool thing. And also, the funny thing is, they were trying to figure out like, okay, what happened to both you, just you two? What happened? And they went through all this other stuff, but they were like, no, wait, but then you were affected by that. But you, and then they kept trying to figure it out. They never thought about that they both got bit by Wendigos. Never put that together. But they literally...
Did the whole party get bit in some past or saves?
No, I think those were
Just
the only
those two
that were... I think others passed their save, yes. Yeah, others passed their save, but those were the only two. I was like 12. They're low level, so it's not high.
Ah, yeah. Huh, and so then does this disease have like major consequences outside of like in the story, I should say?
I mean, if they let it go long enough, they're going to literally turn into a Wendigo.
Does it like, is it just that kind of little arc then? Just that little like...
Yeah, it's a little, it's not, I mean, it's, okay. I don't want to spoil too much.
To like Big Bad Evil Guy or whatever?
It kind of does, but I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to implement that. As of right now, being a Wendigo is partially being like these zombie monstrosity aberrations that are plaguing the world called abominations. And so being a Wendigo is you are an abomination. And so they are going to have a connection to the abominations. But I don't know how that's going to manifest right now. I haven't figured that out exactly, if I want it to be like a voice in their head they hear every so often, or maybe just a call, or I don't know. We'll figure that out. I'll figure that out down the line.
Yeah. I mean, I could say, what if you just made it the disease?
What do you mean?
Like all the abominations have some sort of disease that varies and changes and shifts.
Well, I know what the abominations have. There's a type of like, so I have changed there's these places called the negative energy plane and the positive energy plane. The negative energy plane in my world is literally just a plane of existence that is like it's just a constant just writhing of that negative energy. So if you open a portal to the negative energy plane, it's like a nuke. you are just opening a hole in this pressurized plane where it just shoves out a bunch of negative energy.
What does that negative energy even do? To blow stuff up, or
It murders things like crazy.
just done?
Yes. And so, oh man, I could go into so much. I have figured out like my whole, like most of my world right now, like all of like where it's going to go and everything. I could go into all
Are they
of
gonna have
that.
to go to this negative energy plane then?
No, you literally couldn't. It's just a riling thing of energy.
Ah,
But so every few years,
it's like a gas giant planet.
every
but
few
negative energy
years, they
instead.
just kind of do this to the planet. There are people outside of the planet that do this to the planet to kind of reset everything every like hundreds and hundreds of years.
Just blow it up from the negative energy plane.
Yeah.
Like gate spell or something.
Yeah, they have a bunch of these gates set up around the world that they just they link to that plane for a day and it just boof. But there's always people that survive. People are like cockroaches and will always survive. And so they know that and they kind of plan on that. But yeah, it's a whole thing.
Those people are kind of messed up.
Oh no, they're terrible people, but they're doing it to keep like the abominations, which were originally destroying the whole galaxy. They have kept them isolated to this planet, and whenever this planet gets too close to like space travel or even like getting out into space anyhow, they just destroy it. They're like, nope, back to start.
It's like the classic. Yeah,
They're like,
classic.
We can keep you here.
You have a bad guy who's like bad, but like he's being bad to protect you from something that's worse.
But yeah, so it's like they are.
That was my whole first campaign.
Yeah, they are blowing up this world every however long it takes them to kind of get to that technological area, the technological advancement, just to make sure that it doesn't they don't escape these abominations, because originally they were all across the galaxy and they know these things are like roaches. If you kill all of them, there are still some somewhere and they don't know how to get that. And so the party is going to like find the entrance to this place where they survive at. And if they can kill them there, they can win. They can fully wipe them out of the galaxy. And so the abominations are, because for the first time, I don't normally like to play like these kind of like, the villain also has like good ideals and like they don't think they're a villain. But some of my players kind of made it clear that they're not 100%, like that's not what they come to D&D for. They would like that hero fantasy where they're like, everything we do is perfect and we're heroes.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And so I was like, what is a cool story I can play in this world? And so I created this group of this conclave of abominations, and these are these abomination rulers, and they are just evil. They are there to wipe out the universe.
I do something like, I mean, first of all, moral ambiguity in my campaign is just, that's the story. Everything's morally questionable, no matter what people are doing. But I always usually have like what I like to do is have like, the big bad evil guy is evil and terrible and awful. Mm-hmm. But then there's like the half, like the CR like 13 that you fight at like, level 10 or whatever, level 12, like halfway through campaign, where you're like, I mean, this guy's like questionable, like he's doing bad things, but he's like protecting us from this terrible, like in my first campaign, I ran a plague, like a disease type thing, but it was like the corruption of the dynasty, and they could like corrupt people and essentially turn you into one of them. But what they were doing was they were corrupting the entire world to try and form one single mind to beat the evil entity that was going to take over and destroy the world.
Yeah.
So that the whole entire world would be united in one front. So like, while their like intentions are, we need to all be united under one mind so that we can fight and not be divided against this huge entity. Mm-hmm. Like, so their intentions were like, good, but they were also like literally forcing people into their hive mind by corrupting them and taking over their bodies. But I love doing that kind of stuff. I love.
But yeah, I have moral ambiguity like in the arcs before, like in like people that you meet or things like that. And so all of these, like, there are people that are affecting this kind of like, because like the people out there are looking for, they don't want the cycles to continue, but they're also not actively working to stop them. So there are some people that are like, this is terrible. Why do we keep blowing this planet up? And so they've like kind of stacked the cards in this cycle's favor because they want this cycle to win. And so actually one of the characters is actually he wanted to play this character that had been teleported from another world. So he grew up in a non-post-apocalypse, but was teleported into this post-apocalypse. And he's this wild magic sorcerer, and so he kind of, part of that transfer also kind of affected him wild magically. And so...
interesting.
And so, but I specifically have now that he was brought specifically because, one, this person couldn't bring someone who was already level 20 because that would be too noticeable and like they might be found out. But they brought this level 1 character who they believed in, who they saw the potential of. And so he's going to learn eventually that, and it's actually, so I've been narrating it from the point of like, hey, this is just a storyteller telling a story. And so every like...
What do you mean?
So when we start our sessions, I'm like, well, previously on, like, hey, glad we can all meet again. And like this southern person is telling the story of the party. Like, well, we last left off where the party was going to this and so like all my kind of recaps of our previous sessions are clearly from a character's perspective. They don't
like
know who the
grandpa telling the kids at the fire.
Yeah, they don't know who this person is.
Well, Sonny,
but that person...
last time we left off...
that person is the person who brought Cade, which is the character's name, into the world. He's the one who brought the person from the other world. And they're going to meet him soon. He's this kind of... He's secretly on the planet as kind of like a traveling merchant, kind of. And
he's like a time traveler or something? That'd be cool.
He's not a time traveler, but he is from space. So he has advanced technologies that nobody else on this planet has. But... one of the other players wanted to play a character who does not remember who they are. They have flashes of their like
I love
backstory, but they're like, I don't know who I am really. And they also wanted to play a gunslinger. So I'm like,
ooh,
okay, cool. You're a fighter gunslinger. So you clearly have advanced technology.
So they wanted to play Fallout New Vegas. That's what they wanted to play.
And so I'm like, okay, let's. Yes. But so I was like, okay, what's
so good though?
But I was like, well, okay, who are you? So he is from a group of these people from space that blow up the planet that are like on the planet to kind of keep an eye on technology. So they're the ones who will alert, hey, technology's too advanced, blow it up. But he's been trained from a young age to kind of like live in this environment, live on the planet. And then when they're at the age that they're going to be let down in the planet, their memory gets wiped. And so
how are you going to like mess with his memories and mind as the campaign goes on?
Well, so what's going to happen is if he sees one of these advanced technologies, which he is going to see them in the 4th arc of the story, he's going to remember things, and he's also going to have this feeling of dread, like that needs to be destroyed immediately. But he's also going to meet other people who are already there that is his job. And so he's going to remember them. He's like, wait, why do I know these people? But the people are clearly doing evil things, so the party's probably going to wipe them out. But he's going to remember them, and it's going to be this cool moment of like, who are these people? They're from my past. Who are they? What am I? What is this? It's going to be awesome. I'm so excited for this whole campaign. I love this.
So your campaign's going... Sounds like your campaign's going pretty good.
Oh, it's going so good. I'm so excited for all of this.
My campaign's going bad, you know? Rip.
When I first started DMing... I would create this really cool stuff, and just as the time as I would create it, I would want it to be in front of the players. I'm like, this is so cool, we got to get here, and I would rush it. And I had a lot of issues when I was beginning DMing, not rushing into things because like I just get so excited.
You just like railroad us everywhere when I played in your campaign when we were like a couple many years ago, whenever that was.
Yeah, that was way too early on. I was a terrible DM.
It's like, oh, you teleported. We're like, we did? Oh, what?
and so I just was like, let's get him there. Let's get him there. And so like I've learned to kind of like make every part interesting. And so I literally, as I was creating this current campaign, I was like, I have goals. These are the goals of this campaign because I have been listening to Friends at the Table, an amazing real play podcast. And so I listened to their Marielda arc, and it was really good. And part of what he did before he started this new campaign is he was like, these are my goals for as a DM for this. Now, I did it a little differently because his goals were like, I want to show the world like this and kind of like tell, like, part of it is like make the world feel the way that it was supposed to feel. My goals were, this is how I'm going to improve as a DM this campaign. Because every campaign I should always be looking to how I can get better. Because like Matthew Mercer's been doing it for
sure.
Yeah, Matthew Mercer's been doing it for years, and that's how he's gotten as good as he is. I just need experience. And so I'm like, how am I going to improve this campaign? So I was like, I need to make land travel fun, or at least like skip it in a reasonable way. Like, so it doesn't feel like, oh, we're just showing up to land travel when something important's happening. Like, and so I'm still figuring that out because like we've only had like 6 or 7 sessions so far of this campaign. Yeah. And so I'm still like,
that's kind of what I do. I just skip most land travel until something happens on the way or you arrive at your destination. Yeah. So that's usually what I just do. Because I can't figure out a way to like not do that.
Yeah,
really.
And so what I've actually done. So these, as I said in the beginning, where I was like, they have these gates throughout the world that kind of open up to this evil plane, to this plane of just energy. Those are the party has found those. They found one of them. And once you find a bunch of them, you can like link with them and you can use them as like fast travel points throughout the world because they're set up as these like in these strategic spots to blow up the world. So there's like
to blow up the world.
They're periodically. So you'll find them like in important locations. And so they're about to like figure out, hey, wait, we can use these to travel because as I said, they're going east. Eventually this Wendigo thing's going to happen. Like they have a few other things they're going to encounter first. But when the Wendigo thing becomes important, they're going to most likely be led to this swamp witch, this hag that lives in the swamp down there. And she has one of these gates. She's moved it from where it used to be. And so she's going to warn them, hey, the town you come from is about to be attacked. And they're like, and she's like, it's in like a day. And they're like, we're like 5 days away from the town. And so she'll like, in this creepy way, be like, if you bind your blood to this mirror, I will allow you you will travel there, but I will have your blood, and like kind of make it creepy that so like only one person's going to want to do it in the end. Like nobody's going to want to do it, but one person will have to. And then they'll be like, wait.
Yeah, somebody will begrudgingly do it.
Yeah, because they found an Illuvian, as I call them, because it's such a good name. I couldn't think of a better name. It's from Dragon Age. Illuvian. It's such a good name. I couldn't think of a better name. I worked so hard to like, what good portal name is there?
Yeah.
But yeah, so they'll travel through it to the Illuvian they found that was only a day away from the city. And so they'll begin to like figure out, hey, wait, we could just use this constantly once we find more of them, because they found a map that they believe it points to other Illuvian locations.
Is there going to be like negative effects for using these portals? Like every time you use one, does a little bit of negative energy seep through?
No. They're portals that only allow you to go to other. So if a person marks it, which they take 5 damage to mark it, if they open it again, which they open it by using an ability. So each class has abilities that are like numbered. You can use this a certain amount of times per day, blah, blah, blah. And so I say that's all of that is like an innate magic or just like a power source of the person. So by holding their hand on the mirror, they can use their power source, whatever it is, whether it's like I use my second wind or I use my like whatever ability it is. But depending on how powerful the ability is, it stays open longer. And so they open it up, they can go in, and every other Illuvian they've connected to is in this giant field. And so if they connect to like thousands of Illuvians, they'll see all 1,000 options in front of them. And so it's more of like a way to make travel fun or like make it quicker, but make it also
like
story-wise.
Instead of just like you travel for 5 days. Boom.
Yeah, because
You're
these
there.
are also these are also important to the story. So they once they find out, like, oh, these are where they release the bombs from, they will like. It won't feel like these are there for them. It feels like these are there for a reason, and it won't feel like some gimmicky way to travel around the world.
Yeah, I guess I do travel similar. I mean, it's similar in those veins where I don't know. I look at my world and like where one point where they want to travel to the next, and then I'm like, where would they reasonably like have things happen? Like where, like, and what would be there? Why would something happen here? So like you cross a river and there's something at the river crossing, or like to make it feel like it's not just a random event thrown at you, but more like there's like pigs, for example, when I threw the pigs at you in the farm in the tall grass, like that type of thing where it's
where
just
I
like
wasted my hunter's mark.
Yeah, you hunter's marked a pig. But
it was
like
coming out of the woods, I prepared an action to hunter's mark whatever came at us, and it was just some pigs.
Yeah, I know, and I love that Jonah screamed with thaumaturgy to make it louder, to call, like essentially like scream or scare it away. But it like how you call pigs is like scream and yell.
Yep.
But it's so good. But yeah, I mean that's kind of what I do, I guess, for travel, to try and make it interesting. I don't know, it's hard though. I just try to think of like points along the way that something could or would happen.
Yeah.
Because you can't just be like, why I don't like random encounters, I guess, is because it feels super, I guess, random. It doesn't feel like part of the world. Like, it just feels like...
See, that's the thing. Like, people have different opinions on why random encounters, like, I don't like them or I love them. I probably wouldn't have liked them if I hadn't played Fallout 3. Because in Fallout 3, they have random encounters. Fallout 3 is you're traveling around this wasteland.
Yeah.
There are random like spawn points. Like something will spawn here. We're going to figure out what it is. And so you can come across some really cool, crazy things just that randomly happen to spawn next to each other. Like two Brotherhood of Steel, like the Exiles and the regular Brotherhood of Steel fighting, or like things that feel like important story things,
like a Wastelander slaughtered
that
by
just
a Deathclaw.
happen. Yeah, or you can come across a Deathclaw when you're low level and you're like, this, I know I cannot take this. I have to hide. And like, there's these really cool moments of like just, it really just makes the wasteland feel like this is dangerous. I don't know what's out there. I can't just walk willy-nilly or just run through it. And like in New Vegas and in Fallout 4, the wasteland is curated, so you always know it's going to be there. You always know, hey, that's where a bloatfly spawns. And so
I just think it's a little bit different for video games versus the D&D world.
Yeah.
Because like video games, you have spawns and random, you can have that kind of stuff, and I think it can work pretty well. But I think like random encounters when it comes to D&D game, it just feels, well, random and not part of like, I mean, I know you can flavor it, like you can flavor, a white dragon in a on an ice sheet or whatever. You can flavor, the combats to match the area. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I think I'm just a big fan of like the scripted random encounters where it's like there's a point on the map that's like, or like, for example, another one would be like putting a castle on the horizon that's abandoned, and then like the party walks past it. Well, it's an event that happens along the way that makes travel interesting, but they don't have to investigate it if they don't want. But if they choose to, there's an entire castle or something they can go in and like kind of make their way around.
Yeah.
So it's not just like always something that forces onto them.
Mm-hmm. Or while they're like
there's
bickering
like
for like hours, all of a sudden you say there's smoke in the distance.
Yep. Right. That type of thing. Right.
That happened in our last session. Why I bring that up.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you met Lord Dale. But no, I like that kind of stuff because then it, like, I don't know, makes the world feel alive, but it's not, I don't know, random. I'm just not a huge fan of random encounters, I guess.
Yeah.
I've never seen them done that I like them. Even like when Matt Mercer's doing them right now, like in spoilers, like in the ice place. Mm-hmm. Like I mean, they're all right. It just feels like, oh, roll for an encounter today. Yay. You know? Like, but he has really cool ones though. He has super cool ones. Like some of the like stuff that they find is super cool, but I don't know.
Yeah,
random encounters.
I think it's really up to the person. As of right now, I am trying no random encounters. Because again, like it's similar to the reason why I have a just very clear villain of these abomination leaders who are just like, they're very clearly out to destroy the world. They want to be the only living things out there.
Yeah.
But in a similar way to that, the hero fantasy, dying by a random encounter, or even being like one person being downed by a random encounter, to this person doesn't feel interesting. Like it doesn't feel like part of the story. It feels like I died to just some random monster.
Yeah, like I died because I rolled a 12 on a D12, you know, and I got this encounter.
Yeah.
That's kind of the reason why I don't like them too, is like you roll on your dice and it's like, well, I rolled the bad encounter, you know, or, oh, we rolled an easy encounter today. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I like random elements in D&D for like hit dice and stuff, which I don't know why. I guess it's the same thing though. I don't know why, but when it's a random encounter, it's just like, I don't know. It's like I rolled the bad one. Here we go. You know, like it's just, and there's no like most of the time, there's no like depth in a random encounter. There's no like stories or no stuff that intertwines, or there's nothing that's even like interesting. It's just like, here are two stone giants throwing boulders at you, you know, like that type of thing. It's never, I mean, rarely have I ever seen it or experienced in as a player where it's like, you know, interesting stories that come with them, which is one thing that Matt Mercer's been doing pretty well, is he's had like cool little like lore pieces that are like, you know, around.
Yeah.
But
or we can befriend a bunch of Yetis.
Yeah, exactly. Right. But I think I like the, okay, you can get off my microphone now. Thank you. I think I like the scripted plan where you like think through why this is here, what's going on, the reasons for it, instead of just a big table of encounters.
Okay, that you were looking away from the mic, so you sounded terrible there.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, horrible, absolutely trash. But there's no way we can re-record that.
I was distracted by my bird.
But so what I'm gonna do, what I'm gonna say here is I'm gonna start by saying, I'm sorry, listeners. I guess I did have a plan to talk about the Ferengi this week, but that just did not happen.
I'm so confused. You said, wait, what? I'm so confused.
I plan to talk about the Star Trek race, the Ferengi, this week. It's 40 minutes. It was probably going to be edited down to less than that. But for us recording, this is the 40-minute mark. And we've just been talking about our campaigns. And that's been great. I really enjoyed this conversation. And I hope you did too.
Yeah, this has been great.
But I think now we should try to create something for our world.
Just create something random and we'll do the topic next week.
Yeah, that's what I think.
We need to do.
I think that's what we do, and I think that's going to be interesting. So we made these people that are all about sacrifice this week. I mean, last week. What do you?
Yeah, I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, last week we made the people that were all about sacrifice. What do we add to that this week?
Well, you know what? I think we should take a little bit of a step away from that, and we should make something for your world or something, because that's what we talked about mostly. Do you have anything that you want? Oh, but people, you know, watch this, right?
I don't. I've suggested it, and I think they might, but they've not heard anything back, which either means they're listening to early stories, like to things that I speak of on the podcast, and they don't want me to know that they know.
I mean, I would say we could make something for my world, but you're kind of like
I am a player in it. But yeah, we could totally make something for my world if we want. I don't know how good that'll be, but we can try.
Yeah, I guess what do like the question is, what do we make? That's the
so I've been doing a lot of work this week. On our normal play day, there was something that was going to come up, and we all knew about it ahead of time, so we knew we weren't going to get to play this week. So I've just been working on like large story arcs. So
yeah,
I'm going to
what I've been doing so much of.
Yeah, I think I'm going to run through the story arcs right now. And if there's something you want to jump in on, just say, yes, let's do that. And if you don't, let's create the next story arc.
Cool. Yeah, let's do it. All right. Yeah, I'm down with that.
So as I said, right now, they are all heading east. As they are heading
So wait,
east,
why are they heading east? Heading east?
So we had a one-shot. One of the players was missing, and it was kind of important because it was the second session, and we're like, hey, it's so early on. Let's not miss any sessions. Let's just do a one-shot. So we did. And so the one-shot story was... You people, they were people from the town, which, as I said, it's a post-apocalypse. There's one town. There's one city. This city, like 5 people in that city, began to hear a voice in their head. They don't know why or what, but they went to the one group that they knew would know something, or at least be able to help them learn something. The Order of the Faithful, because in my world, gods do not exist. No, they do, but nobody knows who they are, what they are. But so this is a group that is literally trying to search, like, where do we get our powers? What is being a cleric? What is a paladin? Like, we've read these things, but they don't tell us who or what this is for. And so they're like, hey, we are all hearing voices. Maybe this has something to do with the Order of the Faithful. Let's ask them. They go there, they ask them, and they found this group of like voice hearing people. And they were finally able to hear a word from this voice. Like before, it just sounded like whispering, like, and so they finally were able to, they were finally able to hear it. And it said, east, go east. So even though the Order of the Faithful is like, no, you're the first people hearing voices. Do not leave us. You could die to the east. East is dangerous. Let's research this first. They all escaped in the night. They had allies on the wall that would open it for them and allow them to escape. So they did.
So these people just like fled and ran east.
Yes. So that is the one shot, was them going east.
Oh.
The party now, who they had the Order of the Faithful do something for them, and the Order of the Faithful is like, hey, we just had like 5 people run away. Can you find them for us? But the players already played that, so they know what happened to those people.
That's kind of cool.
But yeah,
that's kind of fun.
So they're going east, knowing those people are not east anymore. Something happened to them, but I don't really need to go into that. But so yeah, so that's why they're going east. They're gonna run into a bunch of stuff. I have that pretty well planned out, so I don't think we need to go into that. But I
was gonna say, why don't we make an encounter that they run into going east?
I have it very locked down. That's part of what I worked on this week. But so what's gonna happen? They're gonna travel back. Like they're gonna meet this swamp witch, as I said, go through this portal, travel back to this to because I.
What if they choose not to go into the portal?
They care about the city too much, and they also said, hey, we have like, this is how many days we can be out east. After this, we have to go back because we don't have enough supplies. And one of the people is a ranger, and he's like, I know how long people can survive out in the wastes. If they have been gone longer than this, they are dead. We declare them dead.
So the east is just wasteland, correct?
Everything is a wasteland, really. They've recovered very little.
Got it. Except for the city, essentially, like the city and its surroundings.
There's the city, there's a mine, and there's a place called the Colony for people that are kind of, it's like the negative energy, that the kind of effect that it leaves is like radiation. So it's like people who've kind of turned into like ghouls. Like there's modifications that happen to a body where it's like your arm grows really big, or like different things can happen. And so people that are kind of shunned go to the Colony. But because of that, there's also people at the Colony that are like in Fallout, the children of Adam, that just like worship these negative energy. So the Colony gets a bad rap because there's a lot of these outspoken, we love the negative energy people there. But so that's the only really
all praise the negative energy.
Yeah, that's the kind of society they have. So there's the city, there's the Colony, and there's a mine. That's the main things. And they're slowly, they haven't even
get their food.
They have next to in the city, they have a section they have made into fertile ground. They have druids working on it. Like it's
got it.
They're still, it's such an early apocalypse setting that they are all at the point where they're like, everybody has to work. We all have to have, we like, survival is still not a sure thing.
Yeah, like we're all working together to make the essentials: food, water, shelter.
Yes.
We're all sharing everything we've got to survive.
Yes, they're still living. So there's a few city buildings that survived. The university being one of them. And the university is pretty much turned into a barracks where they're like, let's fit families into these classrooms, and like we're going to use every space that we can.
Are you going to have something attack the city eventually?
That's what's happening right now. That's Arc 3.
Got it.
They are traveling east.
Got it.
They're coming back west through the portal because they get told something's attacking the city. You need to get back.
And what's attacking the city?
I have them looking like Oni, like Japanese mythology Oni.
Yeah.
But they're abominations. They were like some sort of giant or like devil. I'm not sure exactly what their origin was, but they now look like Oni. And I have a bunch of these Oni minis that I printed, and I love them, and I want to use them.
Man, this reminds me so much of that little like campaign that I was trying to run over Discord.
Yeah.
Of that world.
But yeah,
I loved that world so much.
So these Onis
so
are going to attack, and they're from the east. They're from the west. So they're like 2 weeks west is where their home base is, and they're like slowly growing their horde, their area. And so as of right now, it's a small raiding party that has gone to the city. These people will return, the players will, and they'll take them out, find out, hey, there's a station of them over there. We need you to go check it out and deal with that. And so they'll slowly figure out where the Onis are and figure out how they want to deal with this. Do we try to make friends with them? Like, that's all up to them, however they want to deal with that.
Why are so wait, maybe I missed this, but why are the Onis attacking again?
The Oni are attacking because they have trusted in the past, and people have been infected or turned into like it's kind of like a zombie apocalypse. So if somebody doesn't tell you that they're like near infection, near like turning, you could be screwed. Like your home base or other places can be destroyed quickly. So they have learned at this point, just take everything out, just take them all out, and just take the supplies, because it's not worth trying to trust people.
Okay, got it.
And so they're expanding their range because they're more nomadic. So they're like, move, take everything take whatever you can, and then keep moving on.
Yeah, scavenge for whatever we can find.
And so they're looking to move in this direction, and they find this city, and they're like, hey, that's got to have a lot of stuff.
Yeah, so they're coming in to take everything from everybody in the city.
Yes.
You know what I think your world needs? And you can tell me if you have this or not.
Okay.
But I think your world needs like a group of people who want to be infected.
Oh, we do. That's the Children of Adam people.
But like they want to be zombies, and they want others to be zombies too.
Okay, I think I kind of have a group like that, and one of the players, it's the most horrifying backstory I've ever heard, and I love it. And this person was amazing for making it. Like his mother was one of those people, and he had like 3 siblings. Oldest sister died strangely. They send out search parties. Turns out she had been infected a little too much, and it became this full-on rabid thing.
See,
during this outing, some of the other two of the other older siblings got infected and partially mutated, but did not turn. And normally people would run and hide at that point, like, oh, we got to get back to safety so we can like deal with this. They keep fighting, and the mother is so proud and happy that they're continuing to get more energy. And like, eventually, the only people that survive is like the brother with no legs, the dad, and the PC, and they made it to the city away from the colony. And the dad didn't tell him like exactly what happened, but they just said, your mom's the problem. That she's why your sister's not returning. We're leaving now. And like the dad, now that he has like had time to like relax and be like to think about what's going on, he's like having horrible like PTSD, and like if he doesn't keep his mind busy, he like thinks about it too much, and it's really bad for him. And so part of the PCs, like what their backstory was, is that they worked really hard to find a job for the dad, so the dad could have his mind occupied.
Yeah, I see. For some reason, this like backstory screams to me like a group of people who almost believe like the world. I don't know how to describe this. Who believe that the world like is this way for a reason, and we should embrace it. And so what they do is like they live among the infected people. They like pretend to be infected. Some of them try to infect themselves.
Okay,
and they have this
I have a group that I haven't fully fleshed out that this would work beautifully for. So to start this world off, I wanted to have, because the plan was that they would be these things called reclaimers, and they would go on missions for the reclaimers. So as reclaimers, they could go on missions with anybody. So to start off the kind of when they go from level 1 to level 2, I had them do little like prequel shots that were kind of like before the main story, and it's only with part of the party. So during one of these, they found this temple, and they were going through it, and they found that this temple was to a god called Jashin, and they found a book, and the book like called to one of the players, and he took it, and he kind of like sleight of handed it, and everybody didn't know. When he got it back, he gave it to a certain group who were kind of like the ideas put forth in it twisted them, and they like love like there's this creepy devotion to the book. Yeah. Some of the people from the Order of the Faithful are breaking off to join this group. I wasn't 100% sure what their thing is, but if it's they believe in the world is as it should be, that Jashin makes the world as they want it, and if this is as it is, this is as it is wanted to be, and they want to be a part of it.
Yeah, and so like I picture them like literally embracing it, like they wander the wastes, like pretending and like roaming with groups of infecteds, and like I even see them like, I mean, this could be a fun little arc, like infiltrating parts of the city and trying to like open it up to the infected like every once in a while. Because you remember that one, and this is where I got the inspiration from, but do you remember the campaign that I ran?
Which one?
When over Discord with the Apocalypse City? Mm-hmm. And how groups of, like, essentially the people on the outside, these infected on the outside, are trying to break open the shield, because there was a shield that surrounded the entire city, and they were trying to break open in sections so that it would get infected. But I love that idea of, like, some of these people, like, this group is trying to, like, break open the section of wall or something, or break open and infect something to, like, make the world follow the course that it's supposed to. Like, kind of this, like, counterintuitive, like, what do you mean we're trying to force the world to do what it's supposed to by doing this? That type of thing. Like, kind of like this weird counterintuitive ideology, I guess, where they're like actively trying to bring the infected into the city. I think that'd be a really fun little dynamic of
I do like this, and that's going to be Arc 6. Jashin's Demand, or what would be a good name for this arc?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, and like, I mean, it would be, I don't know, like it would be like kind of subtle. Like you'd have to, or like maybe, well, not necessarily, like all of a sudden, like it would be like how you do it probably is how, at least how I do it. It would be like right after a pretty major arc finished, all of a sudden they're like celebrating back at the city, and a piece of the wall just collapses. And like infected pour in. Like, what? How did that happen? So they do this combat, they defeat it, and then it's like, how did that happen? Like, how did a section of the wall, or how did a piece of this break open? And it would bring this on this whole entire quest of like looking for who or what or why this happened. That's how I'd probably run it. But as to what it's called, I don't know.
But yeah, okay. I mean, what would the group like be called? This. I like this. Well, it's Jashin's Chosen, clearly.
Oh yeah, I mean that's a perfect name. It's already a perfect name.
There's no more needed there. And for any eagle-eyed listeners, clearly Aaron isn't. Ooh, burn. Jashin is taken from Naruto.
Yeah.
There is.
You're right.
There is a guy in Naruto who I loved. He was one of my favorite people. His battles were just so cool, and his whole thing was he would, if he got your blood, he would draw this circle. It was a circle with a triangle in it. And if he stepped in that, you and him would be linked. And so whenever he took damage...
This guy's so messed up.
You would take damage. But he is immortal, you are not. And so his whole thing is inflicting pain and inflicting pain
is evil.
Until he just finally kills himself, quotation marks, because he's immortal, he's not going to die, but you will. And so if you like try to fight him, you do any damage to him, you're dealing damage to yourself. And so this character was just super creepy and cool and interesting.
He's
and I was
so creepy. I love him. He's one of my favorite characters.
He's one of my favorite characters too. And I was like,
yeah, he's really creepy.
I was like, who is this Jashin? Can we do an episode on him? There's not as much on here as I would like, but yeah. And so I was like, okay. And so
maybe the arc's name is just Jashin's Chosen.
Yeah, they even saw one of these circles with a triangle in it that in blood. They saw one of those on the ground where they first found the book.
mean, you could also call it like the Great Collapse or the Collapse or...
Mm-hmm. I mean, it doesn't really matter what it's called, honestly, in the end. I don't think anybody's going to read that, but...
No. But I think that would be really fun. Just like a section of the wall just all of a sudden collapses and they have to go through this whole entire thing figuring out and like...
Okay, let's see what the previous arc was. Okay, yes. So I think the previous arc, it could easily come in here. So the previous arc, as I said, one of the players was going to just like the whole team is going to discover this future technology. It's going to awaken some memories and stuff and possibly a wisdom save from one of the players who his whole goal was to train to stop advanced technologies. So they will find this advanced technology and they figure out that they need coal to run it. They need to create this heat, and coal is one of the best ways to do that. And so they'll have to go back to the swamp because under swamps is where coal grows wonderfully. Like that's the place where coal grows normally.
All them dead.
That's part of the reason why
creatures into swamp.
What?
Said all them dead things in the swamp make coal.
And that's actually why one of the reasons because it needs that kind of wet climate. That's why when the Industrial Revolution happened, Britain was so ahead of everybody because they're like wet kind of I forget what the word is, but they're kind of
marshland
weather, whatever the I know there's
Marine
a word for
West
it.
Coast.
There's a fancy word for it, but their climate or whatever is perfect for coal, and that was the big fuel source at the time. And so I kind of wanted to play on that, and they're already having gone to a swamp, and I was like, that's perfect. That's where coal's from. And so that's going to be where they're going to have to go back to as they're returning, which they'll probably teleport again. They will be rejoicing, happy that they have returned with the coal ready to, which actually the machine that they're going to be able to use is a crane allowing the people who build the wall to build it quicker. And so it's going to be really funny that the first thing that's going to happen on their return, the walls get slammed down.
Yeah, so what I would do is I would have like somebody in the city, somebody like, I don't know if there's any, like what your government structure looks like in the city, but have like them be celebrated, like there's a celebration, almost like the Chroma Conclave type thing. Like have there be like this big celebration and honors and things like that for doing this, like, finding this coal and doing this deed and helping us achieve, being able to build our wall quicker. And then in the middle of this, all of a sudden, like half of the wall just crumbles and is destroyed. And they just hear screams of infected, like run into the city. And so then there's like we have to save everybody first. So they you have like a part of that was like they run around and they're trying to save people, get them into bunkers, get them into safe zones, like all of this different stuff to save as many people as possible. And then you have like they have to fight them all back, get them out of the city, and then you have like trying to find out who or what did this, and then like lead them into this Jashin's chosen to like essentially fight this cult. And it'd be really fun to have them go out in the wastes and like, I don't know, like find out like these people are literally walking around with the infected. Like somehow, I don't know how you do this, but somehow they've been able to like, I don't know if I want to do like typical zombie, if you like cover yourself in zombie guts, they don't know you're there type thing, or if like,
I probably will have
or they're like injected themselves with waste or whatever.
The energy enough.
Yeah.
That they like in the same way of
they're
covering yourself
mutated.
with guts, you've covered yourself with so much of this radiation pretty much. You are partially mutated, but they also will not sense you and attack you.
Yeah. And I think that'd be a really fun little arc you could add in your little campaign.
Now, there was
your big campaign.
So, I'm trying to add a bunch of like player backstory into the world and into things going on. Yeah. I don't want it to be every single one because then it feels like too weird. It's too weird that they're connected to everything. And in the last campaign, I actually made it so that they were like things were happening because of a god of divination, and so it made sense that they were hitting like, why are you involved in all of this? And it was because they were being led to these things by this deity kind of pulling strings. But this campaign does not have that, so I don't like that being a thing that's happening.
Yeah.
So But one of the players' backstories, they were affected by these dims, and they grew extra limbs. And they're playing the race of, I think it's like Simic Hybrid or something like that. And the one that they chose was,
I don't know,
give them a climbing speed. And so the Simic Hybrids have like extra limbs, and the extra limbs are like monstrous and whatnot. And so he has these kind of like claw things that kind of grab into the walls and climb. So trying to like get rid of them, he like had them cut off, because in this world they have these things called chop docks, which they're just amputations. They just do amputations, because
chop off your gross limbs.
Yeah, when dims affect you, you want to get that infected skin off as fast as possible. So there's a bunch of these people in the city. And so he went to a bunch of these chop docks as a child, trying to remove these limbs, and they would just grow back. And
That's
so
awkward.
Eventually he was like his family was trying to help him, like, how do we fix this? How do we, because he's getting weird stares and we don't want him to like have a hard life. So they brought him to this dude who said he could help. This dude did experiments on people who were affected by dims. This was a horrible person they brought him to, and they regretted it immediately. But they had signed their son over to him, pretty much. He kind of had like convinced them to do this. And so, but in the backstory, before the cops can kind of arrest this dude, he disappears. So I kind of want him to be the head of these Jashin's Chosen. Yeah. He has been working on this for years before anybody else knew about
been
Jashin.
All throughout the city. Yeah, even like infecting random people, like, you know, and even maybe like in the celebration that they have, like all of a sudden somebody, like a couple people just like turn into infected. Like all of a sudden they like limbs start popping out of their body and they like go crazy. Yeah. And that could be a hint to like they've been seeing this person, that the same guy that, you know, he's been seeing, that he was seeing or whatever. He was sold to, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah. It kind of was.
But yeah, then like
it's real sketchy in the backstory, and I love it.
Yeah, yeah. But then that directly ties in there. So then, like, you know, all of a sudden these guys, like, you know, a couple people in the crowd like literally start falling over and like convulsing and like literally turning into infected.
Yeah.
And then you can have it be like kind of a, like, if they examine the bodies, they can see like I mean, this is gonna trigger warning, weird warning, but like heroin streaks. You know, like when you like people inject drugs into their veins, you can like where they like have injected stuff into their veins, like that kind of stuff. Like you can do like with medicine checks, they can tell there's been like, you know, they've been injected by something, like something has been literally stuck into them. Yeah, dude. And then you can put his backstory right in there with that.
Yes, I love all of this. This is not the direction that I saw this.
I've been telling you we're gonna have a Lukewarm Open episode one of these days,
and we did. You're right.
Yep,
we did. Maybe we have to have another Lukewarm episode later on.
We do every once in a while,
where we just talk about your world.
Yeah, my world is so complex and crazy, though. I don't even know if you could in an hour. Oh boy, I mean, I know we just scratched the surface of yours, but oh boy,
yeah.
I've been working on this world for a long time.
Yeah,
it'd be fun though. I'm down. I'm totally down to do that.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, I this was a very fun episode for me. I hope it was fun for the listeners.
Super fun.
Didn't go where I was planning. Didn't even talk about the topic at all. We talked about a completely different one. But I hope you I hope my world inspired you, and part of what Aaron was talking about, his world, inspired you as well. Thank you for listening to our show.
And go run your post-apocalyptic campaigns.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to our show. And if you listen to our show on any podcast apps that have reviews or anything, please write us a nice review. Let us know what you think about the show and help bring more people into it. Also, I did start a Facebook page. I'm going to be trying to post on that regularly. I don't know what kind of post I'll have now. I am working on something. I don't know how good it will look or be, but we'll see. And I think it'll be fun. Aaron, do you have anything you want to say?
No, I don't think so. Except for that we have surprises coming still.
Yes. We stopped talking about
Long-awaited surprise.
I am working on the surprise as well. Yeah, thank you for listening. And always remember, be the sharpest barrel in the bunch. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.